Hello and welcome or welcome back. My name is Reb and it's been a while since I've done a visual journal tour or a sketchbook tour, so let's take a look inside. I'll start with the visual journal. I started doing visual journals at the beginning of last year and completed a whole year, and I decided to switch to a slightly larger format this year. And so far, I think it's been working out pretty great. I did not do a tour of my last 2 months journal because there was just too much personal stuff, but this time I think I can just go ahead and show you guys. If you really want to read it, you're welcome to. It's not a whole lot of like super private stuff, but here it is. This is March 1st. I did do a little bit of pasting of stuff into this one. This was actually a really fun day. We went to like a festival and had some delicious food. March 2nd was also pretty nice. We ended up camping out in the backyard. There was supposed to be an eclipse, but it was too cloudy to see, but didn't matter. Personally, I love sleeping in hammocks and woke up feeling really good, even though my son moved around so much. And then we went and did some hiking, and we saw a cute little snake. The snake was so adorable. I don't know if it was poisonous or not. I can't remember. I think it wasn't, but it had like little white lips, and the little white lips were really cute. Orion helped make dinner. Day after that, I went paddleboarding. I'm pretty sure I made a video about this. Oh yeah, I did, because I saw these cool birds and they were doing these like aerial acrobatics diving into the water, and it was really neat. I stuck in a couple little things here, a grocery bill, or grocery receipt rather. And then we went and ran errands. Back to work the next day after a couple days off. Not a whole lot going on. It looks like I just doom scrolled. The next day was pretty uneventful at work until some crazy power outage happened. But when I got home, we just did a lot of playing and stuff. Orion was drawing in some paint markers, and it was really cute because he was like describing his masterpiece, and I don't know, his imagination is just so fun. Day after that, busy day at work, a lot of people, and then later on we had a little bit of a miscommunication and ended up filling the tub all the way to the brim. I thought that my boyfriend had turned it off. He thought that I had turned it off, and neither of us had turned it off. But honestly, Orion had a great time playing in the extra deep water. I took a rare day off the next day, and we went to a birthday party for my son's friend, a little adventure at the museum, and then he went for a sleepover, which was his first time, and I know he did great. I was missing him like crazy though. Day after that, they brought him back, and my mom had taken him for a haircut, so he just looked like a completely different boy. I don't know if anybody else has had this experience, but yeah, I just about cried because he just looks so different. But we had a great day. He found this chopstick wrapper and wanted to put it in his sketchbook, which made me really proud. Day after that, work, and then later on that day, I guess I got jealous of all of his fun the previous day and decided that I would get in the tub with him and we had a great time. The next day was like just like a really gross weather day, and then also I was just like not feeling it, but I just did a lot of cleaning, and then Orion and me went out into his playhouse and played. Ooh, the next day was a really busy day at work, just crazy. But I took a break and did some art hang party, and then came home to Orion just crying because he couldn't keep his bug friend. He's in his like every bug is a pet phase, so yeah, somebody help me because I am not a fan of June bugs. Next day, same thing, a lot of people at work, so many people. So I was just peopled out when I got home. But I came home to this little sweet bouquet of flowers that Orion and my boyfriend had picked for me, and it was just freaking adorable. The day after that was not as crazy at work. I don't know why. I was surprised, honestly. But my son was having a weird day. Just like, I guess he skipped a nap and everything kind of spiraled from there. He only wanted to eat green food. I don't know why. And then finally spring break was over, the last day. Yeah, spring break for us is insane. So after that really long week, we all had nuggets for dinner. Like dino nuggets. And the next day, a cold front blew in, and I was kind of like getting ready to do some gardening and stuff, but honestly, I wasn't really ready, so I was kind of thankful for it. My son was just going through all of my like little trinkets and stuff and found a rattlesnake tail and just running around with it. After that, we were supposed to go to the trails and stuff, but my son really was adamant about going to the beach, even though it was still a little bit cold and really, really windy. So we went to the beach, and honestly, I was kind of glad because I found all this like cool sea glass, and yeah, we had a great time. The next day, I did a live with Charlotta Hamilton from Blue Shine Art. That was super fun. She's like such a pro at doing lives, and I was nervous, but she really did make me feel very comfortable, so it was very nice. And then after that, we went to the park, and we were kind of walking along the riverbank and saw this like huge kind of fallen over tree, and I don't know what got into me, but I decided I was going to climb it, and we got pretty high up into it. So that was fun and very nostalgic. The next day was a work day. I ended up leaving work a little early so that I could do art hang party at home. And I'm so glad I did because I had so much fun playing with my like granulating watercolors and glitter watercolors and all kinds of stuff. And then I worked a little bit more on my 100-day project, which we're not talking about because I've pretty much given up on it. Next day, I woke up with this like cute idea that I really wanted to do for my 100-day project, and I really love how it turned out, and I will eventually show you guys. But yeah, I just ended up not continuing too much with it, so maybe I'll pick it up again. I don't know. Day after that, I met up with some friends after work, and it was Frida themed, and one of my friends ended up dressing up like Frida and winning a contest. That was really cool. She really went all out, so I feel like she deserved to win. The next day, my feet were hurting so bad from those shoes that I was wearing. So won't be wearing those again. And then I also made the mistake of taking my son to work, and he was just a little twerp. I think I was honestly just kind of like a little tired because it probably shouldn't have been such a big deal, but he ended up like deleting some important numbers that I needed, and I had to like find somebody that remembered those numbers. It was a disaster. So yeah. The next day, I got it was a work from home day, so once I finished that, I was able to work in my garden, and my son was helping me. Really, he was playing in the garden, but just kind of keeping me company, and it was actually really nice. Less of a twerp that day. The next day was a really busy day. I don't know, I was just feeling like extra productive or something. But I did some gardening. I made a journal cover for Melissa from Melissa Martin Art. I was going to do a drawing session. I think it was like the odd orange one, but I completely forgot about it. And then we went to the park after school, and he was cracking me up because he had a magnifying glass, and he was like inspecting every little thing, every little rock, every little bug. So it took us forever to go down the trail, which, not a big deal. Next day, my fingers were sore from working and gardening and doing the 100-day project. This is one of those reasons why I'm really like thankful about doing this visual journal, because this is like such a little tiny memory, but I'm gonna want to remember this. Like, he woke up and jumped out of bed and ran over to his little tractors and asked me if I wanted to play Kubota Store with him, which was like his thing at the moment. And it's so fleeting, you know, because now he's not doing that anymore. But for like a whole week, he was like, play Kubota Store with me, play Kubota Store with me, which is basically like I have to come in and pretend like I'm a person looking to buy a tractor, and he tells me about all the different things that the tractors do. And I mean, it's just such a little thing, but yeah, it's just one of those things where like I never want to forget that. And then later on, he slept in our bed, and he like basically just serenaded us to sleep with this little humming, which he does a lot when he's falling asleep, and it was really cute. Very cute day. Next day, I got out a little early because I needed to go and pick up groceries, but I snuck out to hit up the thrift stores because I've really been looking for some specific like sandals, but I don't want to pay full price for them, so I'm just hoping I'll run into some of them like at the thrift store eventually. But I did find some cool Vans. And then I made stew, and then we played video games. I'm not like a huge fan of like kids playing video games, but it was pretty cute watching them play. And it wasn't like a violent game or anything like that. Next day I went to work. Ended up stopping at a different thrift store and got a Lamy Safari pen, which I was so excited about. It was in like this color that I really liked, that I hadn't really seen like on their website in a long time. So ended up picking that up. And then even though I got home late, my son was still awake because he was so excited to show me his Kubota books. His grandparents rather had taken him to the Kubota store, and he got all their like catalogs, and basically that was our bedtime reading for like a week and a half. I can't believe we're still in March. Work, but I was so tired for some reason. and brownies. That's basically it. Came home and made brownies. So I made a jet pen order and got a bunch of orange stuff, and that's why this whole entire page is orange. And that was really fun. It was basically some Le Pens, and I got some clampies and things like that. March 31st was a Tuesday. I was feeling just, I don't know, unproductive. But eventually we got out to the garden and it was pretty fun. I had set up my Pashad box to do some drawing, but Orion ended up taking it over, and it just looked so freaking cute out there drawing in his little box and making his little masterpieces. All right, so moving on to April. April 1st, just did a lot of gardening. Still obviously in my orange phase, but just enjoying all the like orange stuff that I got basically. Next day was April 2nd, Thursday. A lot of meetings that day, which were kind of annoying. But I had art hang party to look forward to, and then I came home to just like a mountain of things to do. I don't know how people do it. It's so tedious. Day after that, I went to work. Ended up taking a midday break and getting some coffee, and then had this like super awkward interaction at work, which I will not talk about, but just know that I was dying of awkwardness. April 4th, getting ready for vacation, which ended up not working out the way that I want to, but more on that later. I went to do a little bit of walking in a garden, and saw some of my like favorite type of roses. They were beautiful. We had some dinner. Orion is such a messy eater sometimes, depending on what it is, and yeah, he had it all over him. Day after that was Easter, and we had such a great day. Before work, I ended up going to like a little Easter party with my friends, and it was just so nice to see them. And also my friend's daughter is just so freaking cute. Had the cutest little outfit on, and Orion ate a boiled egg, which I was very surprised about. I guess because it was blue, he was more enticed. And I don't know, everybody just had such an awesome time. It was really nice. Next day was a work from home day, but all I could really think about is doing gardening and all the other stuff that I had to do. I needed to get ready for my camping trip, and it just was making my to-do list longer and longer. Next day, my son was surprised with a Henry vacuum. I think I've mentioned that he's obsessed with vacuums. I'm not sure. But yeah, my mother-in-law found this old Henry toy and bought it for him. And I mean, he's obsessed with it. It is very cute, however. And then she also brought him this like little gardening set, which I mean, I thought the vacuum was cute, but seeing him work in the garden with like an apron and a little mini wheelbarrow and all of that was also very, very adorable. Next day was, I was just at home doing a bunch of cleaning, which I hate spring cleaning. Some people like, I think it's like refreshing to them. No, not for me. I got a special request for a backyard camp out, which of course I obliged. And it was so nice because the weather was like cool and just a little bit cold. So just sleeping outside was amazing. The next day I had to cancel my vacation, which I was super, super bummed about. And then I had to go to work, which typically my work meetings are pretty boring, but this one ended up being kind of, had a little drama, had a little spice, so that was kind of fun. And then we ate chili for dinner, which, I don't know, Orion really liked, so. Next day I was feeling super bummed because I was supposed to be on vacation and I was in a meeting instead. But it all ended up being okay. We ended up having some adventures anyways. Because the next day, April 11th, Olinda came into town. We were supposed to go on vacation together, but that didn't happen, so she ended up coming to Houston, and we had an awesome day. We went to an urban sketching meeting with the Houston chapter. Then we went to the art car parade, and then we went to this crazy place called Meow Wolf, which was just like overstimulating in kind of the best way. So if you want to see the video about all of that, I'll link it up here somewhere. The day after that, we met up with Olinda again to go see the Frida show, and then sent Olinda on her way. Orion just stayed with me and hung out, and we just had like a little day together. And then later on, I got to play with all this cool stuff that she had gotten me. So that was a really, really fun day. The next day I was feeling pretty tired, needed to do some cleaning, but I wanted to do art and couldn't make art because I needed to do cleaning. So I was just having kind of a unproductive day, but we ended up going to the trails and seeing a bunch of cool millipedes. I don't know why there were so many millipedes out, but there were like a million millipedes. And then made some terrible, terrible dinner. Next day was much better. We ended up going to the beach. The weather was really, really nice. So yeah, we went and checked out the beach. There was like a ton of jellyfish, so we didn't do much swimming, but we did kind of dip our legs in and stuff. I did some painting, which was really nice. And we saw this really cool bird. Unfortunately, it was deceased. But I looked it up to identify it, and it was this really cool purple gallinule, which I had never heard of, and was super surprised that that is actually a native bird. So, day after that, I was supposed to do a bunch of stuff, but I was not feeling like doing anything. I did make some dinner, and then the next day, I ended up splitting this day because the sketchbook is a little bit short on pages. So, since this day was so uneventful, I was like, I'm just gonna put 2 pages on one, or 2 days on one page. Yeah, I had an annoying Monday, so to speak. But I did get a really delicious tart that was really good. The next day, it was fine. It was just like one of those weird work days where things get messed up and it's really complicated to fix them. But I came home and Orion wanted to do art projects, so we made some art projects. I painted this little snail wind chime. It came out really silly and cute. The next day was a long day. And I'm sorry about this gross drawing, but I came home to a very, very snotty, very, very awake baby, despite it being very late. And the only way I could get him to calm down was have him help me with my sketchbook. So he helped paint his shorts and his body. Hence the messiness. Next day, sometimes when I wear my hair curly, it gets super crazy the next day. So yeah, my hair was an absolute nest, and I didn't have the time or energy to really fix it. So I ended up going to work with my hair all crazy and did some sort of messy space bun situation. This little drawing is from a drawing session that we did with Hippo, where we were drawing like mythological creatures, and the Medusa like photo did not really look like this. I kind of drew it as a cartoon, but I ended up thinking that it looked a lot like me, so I just kind of pasted it in here. The day after that was a Monday, which I usually work from home, but I ended up having to go into work to do some testing and stuff, and I was just so annoyed because I also had to go to a work event after the work day, so I was going to be gone all day. But I did put on some fake nails, and I hadn't done that in so long, so it was so weird, but they ended up looking pretty cute. Next day was an errand day. I was so behind on everything, so we went to go get groceries and getting ready for vacation. The next day I was making checklists for vacation because vacation this time was actually happening. And I just wanted to make sure that I had everything I needed. So putting supplies together, I didn't even color this page. I wonder why. I probably just forgot. But the day ended up with this kind of funny dream that I just kind of stuck in here, even though it was technically the next day. But Orion said that he had a dream that he was flying on a robot vacuum. I don't know where he gets this stuff from. The day after that, a little bit of a wrench got thrown into my plans, but we made it work. I was supposed to go home early so that I could get all my packing and everything done, but my meeting went super long, so I ended up having to stay later. So I was doing a bunch of frantic packing. I had to condense all my packing into just a couple hours, so I knew that I would forget something super important, which I did, but we managed. And then it was off to vacation. I will be making a video about this vacation, but I'll just go ahead and show you the journal pages and not just talk about them too much. But basically it was a pretty long drive. Orion did amazing. He's just such a good little traveler. Later that day, Olinda and her daughter came in, so we had a great time with that. We did some hiking and some drawing, and then they ended up leaving the next day, so they just stayed for a day. Next day we did some more trails. We rented a kayak, which was pretty fun. And then we went over to a different park just to check it out while we were in the area. And it was really a really beautiful park. I'll talk more about it later, but it was a nice little pit stop. Ate a bunch of junk food on the way home and crashed out. The next day was an absolute 0 day. I was going to try to do some stuff around the house, but I was so tired from driving and vacationing. We did do a little bit of cleaning, but not much. And then I worked for a little bit in the garden, just weeding basically. Day after that, I was trying to catch up on all the footage and stuff that I had, so was in editing hell, and then did some more gardening, and then back to work. last day of this page was back to work, which sucked. We did have art hang party, which was really fun. It was like build a birthday party, and it was really cute. And then basically just like went to sleep. Decided that I did not want to look at my computer anymore and just hit the sack. And that's it. That's my March and April. I do have my faves here that I just wrote down on a post-it note. So I would say the funniest thing that happened in March was my son erasing the numbers that I needed. Favorite food was probably those vegan dumplings I had at the very beginning of the month. Favorite thing that I watched or read, I've been reading a lot of audiobooks, or I guess listening to a lot of audiobooks. And I really liked Keeper of Lost Things by Ruth Hogan. That was a really fun read. And then favorite moment, I think, would have to be the Kubota store. I don't know. I think I want that just like seared into my memory. It was such a cute little thing that he was doing for a while. April favorites. I think the funniest thing was my son getting that Henry vacuum, and how just like obsessed with like vacuuming up the little like dirt that it came with. It's so funny. Favorite food, probably the butter chicken meatball sub that I had while we were out with Olinda. That thing was freaking delicious. Favorite thing that I watched or read, I read, I guess it's like a murder mystery thriller type book, The Guest List by Lucy Foley. That one was really fun. And then favorite memory, probably Orion using the gardening tools that my mother-in-law gave him. He just like was actually helping me with his little tools, and it was just so nice to have him out there with me. So those are my faves. I guess I should like draw them in here somewhere. But yeah, that's my March and my April. And I hope that you've enjoyed this little visual journal tour. I still need to do the sketchbook tour, which is here. But I will save that for another video. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next one.